Hi guys, Dakota here, but more likely than not, you probably know me as the Pastry Wolf. Either way, I've got a cool new scripted video for y'all. I wasn't originally going to make this video, but I've kind of fallen in love with the characters I'm about to show you, and I feel they deserve a proper introduction here on my channel. So without further ado, I introduce to you Through the Thicket, a random story about deer. Now I know what you're thinking, deer? Why deer? And the answer to that is actually quite simple. A little while ago, I decided to hop on Roblox to play games with a friend of mine. One such game was Yellowstone Unleashed. Now, if you don't know, Yellowstone Unleashed is a game where you basically just have to survive as either prey or predator. And when you first join the game, your starter animal is a mule deer. You could probably see where this is going. I spent a few hours messing around and growing our herd with my friend until inevitably I had the great idea to make a story based on what happened in the game. Unfortunately, I didn't catch much of my original playthrough on film, but I did record my second time playing the game, which is the footage you're seeing right now and throughout the whole video. Anyways, I spent the coming days brainstorming ideas, creating a rough outline of character sheets, and crafting personality for each and every member of the herd. Though I am so far from done, here's what I've got currently. There are 9 members of our weird little herd, the origins of which will come up in a second. Kai, Sand, JJ, Enle, Kit, Jackie, Houston, Emma, and Dust. All of which are mule deer, with the exception of Houston and Jackie, who are Rocky Mountain elk. I'm going to go over 3 of them in this video, and hopefully the rest in future videos. This jolly little band was created after 2 lone deer, Kai and Sand, started traveling together as a means to survive their harsh and unforgiving world, aka nature doing what nature does best. Over time, their plans of eventually parting ways fell through as other lone deer started to follow them, hoping to be led to a newer, safer lifestyle than that of a loner's. Now back to individual character breakdowns, starting off with one of our 2 protagonists, Kai. Kai is a strong, natural-born leader, acting as the group's lead bull, the pillar and foundation they look to when things go awry. He can often be found leading at the front of the herd or standing watch near the trees. His number 1 priority, ever, is keeping the herd safe. Kai takes his job extremely seriously, and sadly enough, he can sometimes come off as detached due to this, which is not the case, but oh well, emotions are weird, guys. He's super observant and tries his best to avoid any sort of danger, but if it did come down to a fight, his strength definitely comes into play. Kai comes from a large herd, and ever since he was little, he'd craved the taste of independence. The life outside his home seemed to call to him, so when he finally turned old enough to leave, he set off on his own. Life outside was unexpectedly harsh and not like he'd ever imagined. As the new reality set in, Kai lost a lot of that youthful spark he once held. The constant tiredness, hunger, thirst, and fear ate away at him, and even the strongest bucks would lose hope at this point. That was until he met Sand, a buck who was so much smaller and weaker. A runt who had managed to survive all by himself while still being so optimistic. This was the first time either of them had seen a deer their age out here all alone, and to Kai's surprise, they started traveling together. Being with someone like Sand returned Kai's hope and gave him a purpose other than just survival. With new additions to the herd as they continued moving on. As of currently, both Kai and Sand consider each other brothers, and have earned the other's undivided love and support. As you can probably tell, he changed a lot in those years to become who he is now. Now on to our second protagonist. Sand's a small and compassionate little deer. He's what some consider a runt, or in quote-unquote nicer words, a miracle, because of how long he's managed to survive. He's Kai's right-hand deer, following up behind the herd when Kai leads, and making sure everyone is healthy and mentally sound throughout their journeys. He's quite the happy, hopeful, and optimistic little dude, isn't he? He sees how much Kai works himself and tries his best to help him by doing the smaller, more unnoticeable tasks that pile up. His work may go unnoticed, but as long as he's with his friends and family, he's happy. Also, yes, I know Sand is sort of a weird name, but 1, he looks like sand. 2, backstory reasons I'll explain in a minute. And 3, I have free will! Anyways, Sand grew up in a part of the continent that looked down upon deer who were born differently. Much of his life, he was left to his own while his herd hoped he'd pretty much just die one of these days. He'd always secretly hoped his family valued him just as much as any of the other bucks, but as he grew older, into a young adult, it was blatant that they didn't. So he took it upon himself to leave. He was going to live the life he'd always wanted to live, whether they thought he could survive or not. Just like Kai, he found the world to be quite unforgiving. There were moments when Sand might have preferred his quote-unquote home over this, but his mind was set and he refused to crawl back to anyone. Not long into his ever, he met Kai, and you can probably guess the rest. Alright, I'm not sure who to cover next, so I'm just gonna... Enle! This is gonna be a short description because he's not a main focus character, and also... what? Enle is the youngest of the group, and definitely the most reckless. He lives for adventure and for having a fun time. He has a horrible sense of what's safe and what's downright life-threatening. All the scars on his legs are from clumsily running around looking for something exciting. The only reason he hasn't run himself into danger yet is his older sister Kit, who made sure to keep him safe. But nowadays, he doesn't only have her, but a whole herd of deer to yell at him not to drink that muddy water with the dead rat in it. Though it can be a lot at times, everyone enjoys the useful spirit he retains. Before joining the herd, Enle and Kit were traveling partners for a long time and have extremely deep-rooted trust in each other. Other than his sister, he's quite close with most of the bucks in the herd. JJ, who's happy to look at every weird-looking flower Enle finds, and Dust, who shares a competitive spirit when sparring. To sum it up,
it's just a baby!
On that note, I think this is going to be the end of the video. There should be 2 more parts to introduce the rest of the characters, but I might just cram them into one video because I can do that. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye. Peace out. Watch my bloopers!
Watch them!